Audit of key resources and capabilities required to implement strategy. A resource audit is a systematic assessment of the resources available to an organization and their ability to support strategy implementation. The purpose of the audit is to identify the quantity, quality, and uniqueness of resources available to the organization and determine whether they can support strategic initiatives. Resources may include physical assets, financial capital, human skills, and intangible elements such as brand reputation or intellectual property. By analyzing these resources, managers can determine whether the organization possesses sufficient capability to execute proposed strategies. The audit also highlights gaps or weaknesses in the resource base that may constrain strategic options or require additional investment. Resource audits typically evaluate resources across several categories to ensure a comprehensive understanding of organizational capability. The study text highlights a framework often referred to as the M model, which helps managers classify resources into categories such as manpower, money, management, machinery, markets, materials, and methods. This framework ensures that both tangible and intangible resources are considered. For example, manpower focuses on employee skills and motivation, while money refers to financial strength and access to capital. Management evaluates leadership quality, while machinery and materials relate to operational capacity. By systematically analyzing these areas, organizations can identify the key resources that enable competitive advantage and support strategic success. Resource audits must also consider intangible resources and capabilities that create long-term competitive advantage. Intangible assets such as brand reputation, intellectual property, customer relationships, and organizational knowledge often play a significant role in strategic success. These assets are typically difficult for competitors to imitate, and therefore provide a stronger basis for sustainable advantage. The audit process should therefore assess not only physical and financial resources but also organizational culture, reputation, information systems, and networks. Understanding these intangible resources allows managers to recognize hidden strengths within the organization and leverage them when designing strategies that create value for customers and stakeholders. Resources alone do not guarantee success. They must be combined to form organizational capabilities and competences. A competence represents the organization's ability to deploy resources effectively in order to perform activities and achieve strategic objectives. For example, a firm may possess skilled employees, advanced technology, and strong financial resources, but these must be integrated into coordinated processes to deliver value. The audit therefore helps identify how resources interact across activities in the organization. By understanding these relationships, managers can determine whether the organization has the capabilities required to implement strategic initiatives successfully and sustain competitive advantage. Matching resources to strategy. A fundamental principle of strategic management is that strategy must be aligned with the organization's resource capability. Organizations must ensure that the strategies they choose are realistic given the resources and capabilities they possess. A strategy that appears attractive in response to market opportunities may still fail if the organization lacks the resources required to implement it effectively. Strategic decisions therefore involve evaluating whether existing resources can support the planned activities and whether additional capabilities must be developed. Aligning strategy with resources ensures that strategic initiatives are feasible and increases the likelihood that they will deliver sustainable competitive advantage. Matching resources to strategy involves evaluating both internal capabilities and external environmental opportunities. Organizations must identify opportunities and threats within the business ecosystem while simultaneously assessing their internal strengths and weaknesses. Strategy should be designed to exploit opportunities that align with the organization's unique capabilities. For example, a firm with strong technological expertise may pursue innovation strategies, while one with strong cost control capabilities may focus on cost leadership. This alignment ensures that the organization competes in areas where it can perform effectively relative to competitors. Strategic success therefore depends on integrating external analysis with internal resource evaluation. Strategic feasibility depends on whether the organization can obtain or develop the resources required for implementation. When evaluating a strategic option, managers must assess whether necessary resources such as finance, human skills, raw materials, distribution channels, or technological infrastructure are available. If critical resources are lacking, the organization may need to acquire them through investment, partnerships, alliances, or capability development. Managers must also consider the time required to build new capabilities and whether competitors may gain advantage during that period. Assessing resource availability helps determine whether a strategy is practical and achievable within the organization's operational and financial constraints. Failure to match resources with strategy can lead to strategic failure or inefficient use of organizational capabilities. If a strategy demands capabilities that the organization does not possess, implementation difficulties are likely to arise, such as operational inefficiencies, financial strain, or resistance to change. Conversely, organizations that align strategies with their strongest capabilities can leverage their resources more effectively and create sustainable advantage. Strategic management therefore requires continuous evaluation of the relationship between organizational resources, competences, and strategic goals. By ensuring that strategies fit with available capabilities, organizations increase the probability of successful implementation and long-term performance.